Hello, my name is Dan. Welcome to another Dev Diary for Absolute Territory. This is covering developments from February 2020 and recorded on the 11th of March 2020. This last month, I had my closed beta test. Had over 100 people sign up to it. Had around 50 actually get a Steam key, and then it just dramatically dropped down to there. But I had a good 5 people participate and give me feedback, and therefore it was well worth running that there because I found some bugs that I wouldn't have found otherwise, and they've given me some good feedback in areas that the game needed to be improved upon. And a lot of the development from that just did result in just a lot of bug fixes and lots of minor improvements here, there, and everywhere. And one of those improvements, what I finally got round to doing, was just giving the level editor a better coat of paint, sanding around the edges and the corners, making it look a little bit more neater than it did, especially when we place an item. We've got icons going on here and whatnot. And also we've got a new feature, groups, and I'll just add a group in there, call it enemy. We'll set you as an enemy, and then we'll just give it enemy 1 as an AI opponent, and then we'll add another one. Just fill it. Enemy 2, and then set that to a group. So now what we did when we had actions, maybe we wanted them to warp out, we'd have to call the warp out function twice, once on each ship. Given that now we've got this enemy group in there, we only need to call it the once, and why not do that now? I'm going to set up a trigger. We're going to have enable from start. I'm going to have a 3-second delay. It's going to occur immediately after 3 seconds, and then we want to warp out, and then we can either have typed in an enemy, or we've got group, so we're going to select our enemy, and that'll warp both of them out together. And there we go. See both of them warp on out. Oh, and yeah, still more bug fixes to go. Obviously, when it got shut down, its position got set to 0 and appeared to still be firing. So there's lots of permutations that need to be tested, and I did hope to have caught lots of these on the beta test, but I obviously need to create my own scenarios rather than other people relying on creating their own. And that'll come in when we create missions. I'm going to create a series of missions, and I'm going to get my beta testers to have a play through those missions and just see whatever bugs they come out on there that we can get nailed for release. Speaking of that, one of the beta testing for the feedback was people wanted some tutorials, so I've just created a couple of custom ones here. Got a basic flight tutorial, but we'll have a look at the targeting weapons tutorial, as it covers a few things that I've also added to the game. The first thing what we notice is the instructor. We have someone speaking to us now, which is a conditional action. This is currently a disembodied voice, but we could have it assigned to as though a ship speaking to us, like the vomitoria in front of us. And we can see also that we've got glyphs. These are help glyphs, and these will be only showing up in the tutorial as it's teaching the player how to do stuff and what to do, so they know what keys to press, etc. And also given with these help glyphs, and currently it's just showing the keyboard and mouse once eventually it gets to it. But if I interact with my Xbox pad, I've got a help glyph there as well, relevant to my controller, and I should be able to get help glyphs for the PlayStation pad and the Steam controller. Even though I don't own any of them, I won't be able to test that, unfortunately, but I'll get it in there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll have a tester who can test that for me, or I'll just have to cross that bridge when it comes and people play it, and hopefully there's no problems there. But I would like to have made sure that it would be fully functional and tested. Thing with tutorials is you can break them. So I've done my best on this one, is to make sure you can't break it. Basically, you could literally fly away and never complete this tutorial, but the basic thing here is making sure is that we cannot destroy this target unless we want to, and we don't want to be in a situation where the player's just firing off all his missiles and being silly, and then, oh no, no missiles, whatnot, no. So we destroy that target, and then we're going to have another target coming behind us. You should have warped in, but I don't know what happened there. There are things in it, like it says don't turn around it, but it's not checking on there, but it's just hopefully trusting the player to pay attention in order to learn the best that they can do. So it's not like the Free Space 2, where if you did something wrong, killed something before, and then it's not going to fail you. It's just a nice quick short tutorial, a few minutes long, in order for you to get through it. And we can see the help glyphs are updating as we're going along. We've now got to select the target to remind us steering, mouse and keyboard, or mouse and joystick. The glyphs need updating a little bit because it says steer left and right, steer up and down, could do with showing the axis on there. So there's things that need to still be done on it, just add in those improvements in there. And then it's now talking about missiles, and it's like, oh well, I've used all my missiles now, and it's talking about a missile, and I've fired them all off. What am I going to be able to do, because I've got no more missiles to do? Well, I figured that out. Now we've got missiles, because we rearmed the player, and now we can destroy our target. And done, and autopilot there as well, thrown in there, because we're not going to talk about the autopilot, we're just going to make them aware that there is an autopilot to use, basically. And that's how you exit out of a mission. And there we go. Transmissions, and if I load up another one, I've got my transmission test here. And first of all, the instructor was disembodied, but this one is going to have the transmissions coming from ships that are in the game world, and we see the first one speaking to us there on the left, and then we've got the other one who's speaking to us now as well, and we've got that little white banding box that goes around just to indicate that who is speaking to us. A nice little touch, all from the old games of all the other space combat games that we might have ever played. We'll just load back up into our tutorial. We're back into our basic weapons and targeting tutorial. We can see all the conditional actions set up, all the triggers that we've got set in here, and then we can see that we've got this player receive transmission. That is what allows our instructor to speak to us. So we can see we've got it set there that it's overriding a display name, or specifically we can have it linked to a ship, and that's where if we entered in the vessel identifier there, we'll get that white banding bracket if it was in our view. And then we just got various actions and conditions set up there to make sure we're progressing through that tutorial. Now, when I first created the level editor, what I really wanted to do was include Steam Workshop support. That was definitely going to be a given, and I'm happy to say now that I've got that support in the game and functional. We've got in the level editor on the F2 key to publish a mission. We just get this simple publish mission form, and this would publish whatever mission that we've got currently loaded up in the background. I've kept it very simple for what we need to upload, and we've got our item ID. That is the workshop item ID assigned by Steam. So if we had an item in there, we could type the number in there, copy and paste it in there, hit the find, and then it would go and pull in the data for the item name and description of whatever item it found, if it existed or not. And as you can see, it's telling us to enter a valid item ID. What we're going to do is leave it blank because we're going to create a new one. We're not updating a workshop item. I'm going to give it a relevant title and a description, which you would put in however is relevant there. And there we go. And all we need to do is hit submit. Let's see, it's processing and done, and then it will open Steam for us and throw us in here, and we can see got our basic targeting and weapons tutorial set there, and our description that we put in there. And what we can do now is we can put in a relevant nice little image in there, because we want people to sort of see what's going to go on in there, and whatever else we need to do. And then we can set the visibility and make it public so that other people can now download it and subscribe to it and use it. So you've subscribed to your item, you want to use it. So before we just had custom missions, and that's all your local custom missions you go in there. I've now added workshop missions, and we can now see whatever we've got subscribed and installed. So here's one I subscribed to earlier, a tough mission, and we just launch that, and then we'll just get in our mission that has been loaded from the workshop, and it includes all the relevant files we need to do there. So you just literally just need to make sure you've created your mission, you've tested it that it works, and then just open that publish form, fill in those couple of fields, publish it, set your image, thumbnail, make it available for people to find it on Steam, and they can just download it and then play it. As simple as that. So very little legwork required for yourselves in order to share this, which I'm quite happy about it. But it does rely you to use Steam to make sure you're updating it, and then of course you're going to probably want to make sure you've got keep a backup of your file as well, maybe. But that will be up to you on your own workflow to solve that out. And that about covers it. What I want to talk about, because as I said, it was just a beta test. Ran for 2 weeks, had over 100 people show interest, 50 of which got a key by going through to my Discord in order to show that they were still interested in it, and then the numbers sort of dropped quite radically there. Maybe I should do a sort of post-mortem on that at some point. But ultimately I ended up with about half a dozen people who provided feedback in various degrees, some more than others, but it was good feedback. Found bugs that I wouldn't have found otherwise, and improvements that could be made to the game as well. And it all continues. Hope to release this year at some point. my main focus is towards getting everything in there what needs to be done towards getting to a release point now. So I don't expect to be adding anything new in feature wise too much. Just some very basic stuff that I've had from the feedback in there, and other stuff needed. I do have my to-do list, though my to-do list doesn't seem to move down, but I keep adding other stuff that keeps cropping up and finding in there. Such is life of development. But I'm aiming towards no later than start of winter 2020. Oh, did I say that? November, assuming no big releases come up around then. That's my aim for goal. Whether I'll achieve that or not, stay tuned and we'll find out together on this game dev journey. This is my first video game that I'm working on to release. You know, I've been a hobbyist for many years and never actually released anything on a Steam store page, you know, as a polished experience. So it's all a learning experience, and things take longer than you realise, which a lot of people who play games don't realise. A lot of hard work. So it'll be interesting to see what the final reception will be. I think this is, with a level editor, it's quite niche. But we'll throw some missions into the works that people can play around with if they're not interested in a level. Creating their own missions, and of course they've now got the Steam Workshop to download their own missions, and we'll also think about expanding on that for maybe campaign custom campaign. Did I say that? Yeah, we'll see. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This is available to wishlist on Steam. Absolute Authority, the space combat simulator. Throwback to the 90s of wishlist on Steam. Links in the description. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this has been Dan saying bye for now.